So I'm just getting used to the format of StreamYard. And maybe there's a few of you guys that there's one person on thus far. Bring it on. Thank you. Maybe there's a few of you guys that there's one person on thus far. Okay, so this is live now. Good, this is live. Let me put some music on. So I'm wondering if this is any different from going live on my phone to StreamYard. Again, I'm just trying to figure out edit, public, afternoon, truth bomb, public, schedule later, save changes, pre-record. No, I'm just trying to see where it says private chat, comments. Just trying to hi there, Tina. Hi there, H and T. So there's two people on at the moment. I don't know whether the commenting is a 30-second delay or a minute delay. I'm not sure. So I don't know how to change that. So I don't know how many people are on here at the moment. It looks like, oh yeah, I can see here at the left-hand side, it says 10 viewing at the moment. Welcome to the Pure Energy Healing Academy. This is just a warm-up for times that I'm trying to get guests to come on. So I've got all the formats here of bringing people onto the show, which is brilliant. So any observations or suggestions, please let me know. Just send in loving energy and support whilst people come on. Yeah, brilliant. Hi, Anna. Hello, glad to see you again. Yeah, this is just a pilot, a tryout to see if I can be an old man who can figure out this new, just cost me €300 to get this live stream. So hopefully I can eventually work it well. So right now on the right hand side of me, I can see the comment section. And the comments are coming looks like, I don't know how quickly. They're not coming that quickly. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but maybe, wow, there's a load more coming on now, which that's good. I'm going to do trigger warning coffee afternoons. Trigger warning means reality check, things that people don't want to hear. I got a lot of awful messages this morning that I had to get rid of. That is of people who really can't stand the fact that when I'm speaking nothing more than positivity, if I speak anything negative, if I point out truth, they literally get so upset. Do you know, it always points back to one lady that I used to know very well, and she was stabbed. I don't know. I think it was 38 times, and she still lived. And she wrote a book, Julie Chimes, lovely lady, and she told me something that always stuck with me, and it was, when you do this work, if people enjoy what you talk about, they invest in you, and you have a responsibility. And always remember that if you fall, then like a pack of cards, everybody else will fall. And that shook me up a little bit, but it stayed with me. And I asked her the question, well, why is it that the responsibility is on me, that people fall when I talk about something. And of course, we had a lengthy discussion about this. And there is a kind of responsibility that we have when we start to share our truth and people start to invest in that truth. And the problem is, this is what I said to her, it's selective programming. So people will only hear what they want to hear. And that's not really somebody who's really understanding you. And I think that's the problem with humanity. We select what we want to hear and we ignore the rest. And sometimes when we overpower somebody with too much information or too much negativity, then it's almost like the deck of cards just fall and they can't cope with that anymore. So I thought, well, maybe what I can do is try and alter the way I share information, and maybe a trigger warning could be something that people say, you know what, I'll leave his trigger warning to one side and I'll just take his happy pot of honey and feed from that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's been, when I listen to Richie Allen, he can do a full show without saying anything very negative. It's just very positive. And then he can do a show where there's a rant and he's really, really passionate about what he's talking about. And he's trying to shake people up, trying to make them understand what's going on. And sometimes it can feel like he's having a go at all of us. And there was time that I was like, oh, I'm shocked at this. This isn't the person that I thought it was, but it was the person. Richie is exactly that. He is all parts. He's all personalities rolled into one. So I realized that that was my issue, not his. My issue was I didn't like what he was ranting on about, but it was true. Everything he was saying was true, but I didn't like his tone at the beginning. And it kind of shocked me. And then I realized that that's my issue, not his issue. That's not, that this is who the man is. And my shock is a way of saying, hey, I don't like what you're saying. I don't like you anymore. I don't like what you're saying anymore. Hang on a minute. First of all, nobody asks you to like what I'm saying. Nobody asks you to listen to me. And nobody asks you to tell me how to behave. So I understand this now, and I literally won't put up with that. If people are saying negative things because they don't like what I'm saying, that to me is a sure sign of somebody who's trying to change and manipulate the given conversation just so that they feel better. And that is why we are in the state of darkness, manipulation, and corrupt energy in this world. And those who can cope with that pain and suffering, those who can look at themselves in the mirror or realize that this guy isn't lying, he's not trying to sell anything, he's just speaking the truth. And I don't like what he's saying because he's speaking against somebody I've invested in. Don't invest in people. Don't invest in me. Don't invest in anybody. Just listen, observe, stand back, and make your decision. No, I don't like that. No problem. It's called free will. Your choice is to either listen to somebody or not. But I don't go onto people's sites and say, don't say that. I don't go onto people's sites and willingly want them to say what I want them to say. Because that's the world of robotics. That's the AI technology. Whether you like it or not, you are part of the problem. I like debate. I love debate. I love to be pushed. I love to be shoved. I love to be ridiculed. I loved to be angry. I love to be offended. God forbid that you will take those things away from me, so that we all say, it's a beautiful day today. Look how beautiful it is. Let's all pray to our angels. I mean, you know, there's a time for that. There's a time for that. But there's also a time to be the warrior. There's a time to speak the truth. And truth is subjective. The truth is what you're seeing at any given moment. But more so when you're seeing what you're seeing, depending on if it's reality scene or if it's on the black screen, then that might not be the truth. So if I saw you this morning and I bumped into you, which I actually bumped into somebody down there who was waiting for me at Banana Kitchen, waiting for me to speak, and then pounced on me, which, to be honest, I don't find that, I find that a little bit creepy. Somebody flying over from Denmark and sitting there waiting for me to finish, and then coming over and saying that they flew over to find me here. That's not healthy. That's not good. That's kind of scary. That's creepy. But I was fine, and it just made me think maybe I don't want to go down there anymore. I don't want people to. It's almost stalking. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's crazy. In my world, that's just scary. And I'd appreciate it if you think twice about not doing that. And I'm sure you don't. It's only a very few amount of people who do things like that, especially now that I've retired. There's a clue in there. I've retired. But anyway, going back to the whole point of life is learning and experience. And experience isn't what I'm saying to you per se. It's what you do through the day and what I do through the day. So I try and make as much effort as I can to get out of this situation and the black screen, to go and live an earthly life and experience it one-to-one with human beings and everything that I see around me. That's an experience. So when somebody speaks on the black screen and talks about other people, that's not real fact, is it? It's only what somebody's talking about. But when you hear somebody speaking about their story, their truth, then that is closer to the truth. So it's a fascinating thing that we all now believe truth is secondhand, in the sense that somebody else has told us. But real truth is your experience. But to somebody else, that real truth might be a lie. You see what I mean? Because they weren't there, so they don't know. So you could be lying, you could be deceiving, you could be, it could be propaganda, it could be anything. And now we're finding more and more that we're getting into a cesspit of nobody really knows anything, because we're finding out more and more that the people that we thought were lovely deceived us. They pushed us into having an injection. Many of the gurus, many of the very famous people out there were pushing all their followers to have the injection. So they've gone very quiet now. The gurus, they've all gone quiet now because everybody's had the injection. So let's carry on. Let's continue. Let's forget about that. Let's not talk about it. But hang on a minute. The injection didn't work. You were wrong. Why are you not saying to people that I was wrong and I led you down a path to have an injection because I believed somebody telling me, called Dr. Fauci and all the rest of them, the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab's and Bill Gates? Why are you now not standing up and saying, I believed the wrong person, I was lied to, these people are not genuine, and I've made a mistake, and I'm sorry that I led you to have your 3 injections and your booster? Why are they not saying anything? Well, of course they're not going to say anything, because they ruin their reputation, and it might make people think, and what they hope for, that people forget. And unfortunately, people do forget. And people forgive very quickly and forget very quickly, because now they've invested in what they've been told by their guru or by their influencer. But nobody talks about that. Shush, don't mention it. Why don't mention it? Of course you should mention it. Hey, hang on a minute. You told me to have the injection. Look what's happening to people. People are falling down, sick, ill, dying. Why can't we talk about it? That is fact. Why can't we talk about these things that are happening every day? Why is it being suppressed? Why are you not saying I made a mistake? So it comes to the same, right back to the same place. Here I stand. Don't ever listen to anybody. Listen to you. And I speak about this every day. I say that you have the power, only you, nobody else. You make the decisions what feels right for you. You don't get somebody on a black screen telling you what you should and shouldn't do, because you will be led down a path. And the problem with that is that most people in general are happy to follow somebody else. Why? Because then they don't need to take responsibility. And secondly, if there is a mistake and a problem, they can turn and blame. But I've noticed that that's not happening now, because the essence of being starstruck by a famous guru, and dare I say anything, yeah, you should be able to say something. Yeah, you should. Hang on, I'm sorry, I don't care who he is. You should be able to say it. Hang on a minute, mate. Let's just talk about this. You talk about animal cruelty and that it's wrong, and you call everybody who shoots animals disgusting pigs, and yet you told everybody to go and have an injection. And when I pointed out that the injections were tested on ferrets, and you're pushing everybody to take an injection that were tested on animals, and all those ferrets died, then I'm sorry, Ricky Gervais, but that is the truth. And then I nearly got my head teared off. How dare you speak to our God like that? Jordan Maxwell, you get the government you deserve, and you deserve the government you get. You get the guru you deserve, almost, right? And everything else, all the other people, Peterson, Jordan Peterson, another one. Everybody's bowing to him. He's the God. He's the answer. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Stop a minute. Isn't there a video out there where he says, take your vaccine, when somebody asked him, take your bloody vaccine, your bloody well vaccine, so we can get on with this life? Hang on. Why aren't you talking about it? Why aren't you holding your hand up saying I made a big mistake and I led people to be injected? And all of these people that I personally know who are sick in bed, who can't do things anymore. I have hundreds of people who keep telling me every day I'm getting a little bit better, but some days are worse after my booster and my third jab, and they're sick and ill. Hang on, why can't you? Let's forget that, shall we? Let's not talk about that, because he's a God, he's a guru, he's got the answer. So you see, this is where I stand back in amazement. And this is why I've always done this. You are your guru. You should listen to what feels right. There's nothing wrong with listening to everybody, but what feels right to you should be. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. Never. In fact, if somebody tells you what to do, if somebody says, take this so we can bloody well get back on with life, don't do it. Don't do it. If somebody says, look, the choice is yours, it's up to you. I've looked at the ingredients. They don't look good. Nothing there seems healthy. Nothing seems healthy at all. Excuse me, Jordan Peterson, that you talk about the in-depth mind and how it works and the psychology, yet you didn't even look. You didn't even bother to look at the ingredients. And you expect me to listen to anything you say? What about all the people that took all the injections because you told them to say it? Why won't nobody say that to him? Why doesn't he stand up and say, I made a bloody mistake? And hey, even if he did that, that's a great opportunity for you to say, okay, enough is enough. I'm not listening to these people. I'm going to take responsibility for my own life. This is my life. This is your life. When you let somebody take responsibility for your life and something bad happens, you're going to live in Not just regret, but bitterness and anger because you listened to that person. Look at how many people were pressurizing you to have an injection, pushing you, telling you that you're a criminal, that you are a conspiracy theorist, that you should be shot, you should be hung, you should be put in prison. Let us not forget all of these people. Oh, but forgive and forget, forgive and forget. Oh, okay then. Until next time, and there's something else comes up and they do it again. There's a great example that was shown, and it's shown all over the world now, of a young man who was taken advantage of. He was led around a building, and all the cameras only took pictures of what they wanted to see. And then he was thrown in prison for a few years. And now all of a sudden people are realizing that that didn't happen. It was a lie. It was manipulation by the parasite government. That's what they do. They are deceitful to the highest deceit. They place their hand on a Bible and lie through their teeth. They tell you that they are the government leaders with the big names after them, but they are liars and cheats, all of them, protecting their own investment, pushing a narrative that only the poor, only the common are penalized. And they sit in their ivory towers laughing at humanity every single day. And they allow certain people to come into that narrative and to push a narrative because they've already got their game, their plan. It's already done. So they already know who they allow into the mainstream. And you think, oh, well, it's all, no, Mark. No. People love these people, and that's why they've got millions of views. But that's not true. I know a lot of doctors who were pushing the fact that this injection was poisonous, was bad, and would not work for what they were saying it would work for, but it would work for what they wanted it to work for. Do you see them? They're taken down. You don't even hear about them anymore. You can't even find them if you look for them. But you can find Brand, you can find Joe Rogan, you can find Jordan Peterson. No problem. He's everywhere. So why is that? And what is wrong with questioning that? What is wrong with saying this doesn't make any sense? All of those amazing people are either dead now who spoke about the truth about these poisons, or they were shadow banned or taken down, wiped away. Why can't I ask that question? Why is it that these people are allowed to speak a truth? But isn't that truth only limited? It's only spoon-fed, just enough for you to maybe be a bit angry and to follow them. But maybe, just maybe, that these people are actually put there deliberately. And that makes more sense to me. So because I question it, there are people who are angry at that because they've invested in Jordan Peterson or Russell Brand or Joe Rogan. So don't you dare. Don't you dare. How dare you speak? He's my hero. I switch him on every day and he says all the right things. Well, wouldn't the same thing happen if a man knocked on your door and said to you, you need your roof fixing? It's falling down. I can see that the foundations of your house is falling down. It doesn't look good. And don't you want to be safe? What about your children? They want to be safe? Of course they do. So I think we need to fix it. Oh, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. Yeah, you're right. I didn't realize. Same thing. It's the same thing. You can speak the truth and still be a con. You can still speak the truth and still have an agenda to what you want. Or maybe you are already with a certain set of a cult without you even knowing. Maybe these people were brought up in a certain way and they will I mean, look at every politician. They lie through their teeth. The greatest one is the one where everybody gets so angry about. Why do you get so angry when the truth is the truth? So let's take, for instance, I don't know, let's not even talk about Biden. Let's talk about the hero that QAnon started with, and that was with Donald Trump. The first thing that got all the truthers towards following him was something that he told everybody because he knew he could get the truther movement on his side. And that was, when I get into power, I'm going to put into prison Clinton. Hillary Clinton will be in prison. Well, anybody with a brain knew that wouldn't happen. Because anybody with a brain who looks at history, none of the leaders ever go to prison. The only people who go to prison are the scapegoats, and those are the poor people, the people who are useless, rendered useless. And we all know that Hillary Clinton should be in prison. Everybody knows this, but it never happened because he didn't mean it. And it doesn't matter what you say. Oh, but no. If he was the chief, if he was the general and the man in charge, he has the power to put people in prison and to take them out. Well, for me, the most important person to take out of prison is Julian from WikiLeaks. Get him out. He did nothing wrong apart from share the truth. Why didn't he take him out? He had he took loads of people out of prison. You can absolve anybody's sins if you're a government president. You can absolve, I don't know how many people, but many. Why didn't he take all those people out? So it's easy to feed people what they want to hear. And it's hard to feed people the truth. And this goes with love. It's hard to share love, but it's easy to share fear. So these are the things that I find fascinating in life, that how back to front, inside out, wrong way around everything is, and how people so easily believe anything, and how difficult it is to share the truth. And we've seen this over the years, the centuries, millennia. Anybody who dares share the truth is incarcerated or killed or mocked and ridiculed, which has always fascinated me, and I've always found it bizarre. So there you go. I just wanted to make this little short video just to say hello, and maybe I'll start doing some truth bombs on here, and sharing stuff that are going to upset people, because I'm speaking about people that you may love and you've invested in and you believed in. But maybe a wonderful thing is don't invest in people. Just say that's interesting, and what they've said is interesting, but don't buy into who they are because they're telling you what you want to hear. That doesn't make them truthful just because they're speaking the truth. Listen to any politician. You know, most of us are in one way or another not truthful. We do things that we think is the good for likes or fame or money, or we do things because we don't want to upset somebody. That's the same thing. In theory, it's the same thing. There's nothing wrong with saying nice things as long as you're saying them for the right reasons. But if you're saying nice things because you're manipulating a situation because of an outcome, that's not nice. That's not nice. So I don't know what you all think about that, but that's kind of my truth. That's how I feel. So I'm glad I'm able to come on here and do this now, and I'd like to do other things, lives, a lot more lives in the future, lives where we can maybe, I don't know, sit and I can answer some of your messages via questions that you might want to ask. Oh, yeah, somebody said something here. My husband worked with Jordan Peterson years ago. I've met him and he is a fine man. That's great. I've never seen any video of him pushing this. Well, I did. I saw a video. Maybe it was a lie, but I'm sure you'll find it if you want. But there was a video where he was asked about the jab, and he said we should take it and get on with it, get on with life, so we can get on with life. Please check it out. But yeah, you can be a wonderful person. And my point being to about Jordan, he's got amazing knowledge, and I know a lot of gurus who have got amazing knowledge. But when it comes to following orders, when they tell you to have an injection, now that's a different thing. That's when you have to draw the line and say, no, I'm not going to follow what he says. This isn't about attacking Jordan, by the way. This is about that helping humanity by saying, look, there's nothing wrong with listening to people, but ultimately we have to listen to our inner truth. I know many famous people, and I know many people who have fallen for their godlike energy, God complex, do as I say, listen to me and everything will be fine. And it's caused great mayhem. Ask yourself, who are some of the most prominent speakers of this world who speak about health and well-being, who speak about spirituality and all the other things that pushed the needle? There were many. Deepak, all of them, loads of them. And what I'm saying is, I'm not attacking the individual. I'm just saying, I'm trying to put a point across. Everybody gets me wrong. They think I'm I listen to Joe Rogan. I love some of his guests. I'm not attacking him. I'm just trying to put a point across that there's a limit that we should go. There's a line that we should never cross. And that is to follow what people tell us what we should do just because they think it's the right thing. That's all I'm saying. But I get stoned for daring to mention Ricky Gervais. You know? I'm not always going to be right, and neither are they. And if we understand that, we're all human, we all make mistakes. So we can't rely on somebody. Just like we're realizing now, we can't rely on an authority called government to make the right decision. Because if anything, now you can see that everything they're doing is the wrong decisions. But my argument or my observation is, are they making the wrong decision? Maybe they're making the right decision for them because they're invested. Joe Rogan's invested in trillions of dollars, millions and millions and billions of dollars in companies that control the narrative. And I pointed it out this morning. Somebody cleverly, without even realizing what they did, was genius, because Joe Rogan talks about free will and I can do what I want. Don't worry about that. I can do this. Do what you want. Don't be pressured by anybody. He talks about, he can do what he wants and say what he wants. But then when when push comes to shove and somebody live on the show said, well, let's have a bet. If I win the bet, you let me bring the guests on that I want for 30 days. You soon see who his master is and how he quickly knocked him down and said, can't do that. It's impossible. I've got clients. No, I can't do that. Yeah, of course you can't. Yes, you can. You can do anything you want, Joe. No problem. You can change anything if you wanted to. But he knew he knew that wouldn't happen, because who could come on could be really the ones that could make a massive impact in this world. Who knows? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm right or I'm wrong. I'm just pointing out observations that I see on TV every day. So like I said, maybe none of those things are wrong. They're all absolutely right. Every single person in government is pushing for what they believe is right for them. Everything they're doing there is right for them. It's right because they're going to be looked after when they're retired, and their children are going to be fine because everything they say and do is a protection against their wealth, their power. So very few people in this world do it for the sake of love. There's an Indian woman who spent all her life as a biologist, and then she realized what was happening with the GM foods. She realized that this was all being taken over by Monsanto, and all the land was being killed, and it was more profit than anything else, and it was being poisoned. And she is an advocate. She's a light for the world, because she's trying to bring back the right way to look after our world, how to feed people, how to help people. And what she says makes a lot of sense. But would I follow what she said? Only if it felt right. If she said to me, after saying all of these things about permaculture and all the other things, if she said to me, go and have a jab, I'd say, there's something wrong with this woman now. She's been hijacked. Why are you doing that? Why would you do that? So the point being is question everything in the sense of what people are saying. There's nothing wrong with questioning in that sense. Nothing wrong with asking the question. But when it comes to these celebrities, people are frightened of asking questions. And I've often said to people, don't ever be frightened of asking me anything, because you'll see if I'm lying. You can see it. You see it straight through people's faces and what they're saying and doing. So that was it, really. But yeah, as of late, a lot of people feel that I'm very negative, and it's been like that for 4 years. Well, if you don't like it, switch off. It does, just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I try and be as open as possible, and I share things that are only things that I've used in my healing life. So I share my books because that's my truth. I share my oils because I work with them every day and they work. I share my incense because they're bloody fantastic and I've worked with them, and I've worked with thousands of incense and tons of oils to get what I needed to get. And everything that I work with, I share what helps me. You don't see me doing an advert like JP, of these new beds, these glasses, and I don't do stuff like that. I could easily do it. There's been many times affiliated marketing companies come to me every week at one point. Not interested, not bothered about that. I share what I work with and what I use. The crystals that I used over the 20 years, each crystal has a unique energy. I'll share that with you. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but it worked for me, and try it. And then when people say, oh my God, it didn't help me with that, but it helped me with this, I find that fascinating. So I share things that have worked with my clients. And then when I put good energy into it, a certain frequency, people were saying that they got great results. So everything that I've done revolves around my work. Everything. I share what I share with you because it revolves around my work. Everything that I do when I work alongside Don Tolman and Leila Sati and, Reg Lenny, all the people that were, healthy eaters, and I started eating healthy, I realized this is important. So I share that truth that after I finished trying this, which was maybe a 5-day or a 7-day juice fast, and I'll say this was really helpful, or this hurt and this happened, being truthful about what you eat and what you drink and all this I find fascinating. Truth of experience. That's what I find fascinating. But yeah, there's so many people who speak and don't say anything, and I find that fascinating as well. And why is that? I looked into that years ago. Why is it that some people say the same thing and one person's saying it and the other one's saying it, and one person's saying nothing and the other person's saying everything? It's because it's through experience. Experience is a different energy when it comes out of somebody's mouth. Truth is a different energy when it comes out of people's mouths. And it can affect people in so many different ways depending on how that person is feeling. So truth, when spoken, and it hits you, it can knock you for 6, right? Because it's truth. And sometimes it breaks the walls down of lies and deceit. There's so many people who don't look at themselves. They're in denial. There's so many people in denial. And when truth is sent to somebody, they get angry. They get angry, really angry with truth. And that fascinates me. That's a subject that's always fascinated me. And I've sat down in front of thousands of people and given readings. And when you're sharing truth, if you share it in a loving and kind way, sometimes it can be so profound it changes a life. A bit like when you tell your child, don't do that, darling, because if you do that, this will happen. And they don't listen. And then one day they meet a stranger and the stranger says, listen, don't do that because this will happen. And then they come back to you and say, oh, guess what? And you say, yeah, I've been telling you that for years. So sometimes truth has its moment, and that fascinates me as well. So I love the psychology of humanity. I love how we behave. And the fact that we can get angry, and the fact that sometimes we don't get angry. Why is it that we get angry with somebody that tells us something that we love, and then we meet a complete stranger who says the same thing and we don't get angry with them? All of these things are relevant to get, and it's so deep and it's so personal, and it's normally our weaknesses, our fears, our patterns, our molds that we need to break and become stronger than. So that's how I see it. But I wish you all a lovely day. I lost my job and haven't been able to work since August 2021, thanks to this bullshit. Yeah. And like, you understand this because you're experiencing the after effect of what happened. Imagine somebody who at that particular time, their business grew and grew like mine, and I became richer and richer. I'll look at you and say, what are you talking about? It was fantastic. It was the best thing that ever happened. And you're looking at me saying, you're an asshole, mate. It ruined my life, which it did. 2 different scenarios out of a situation. I was feeling guilty every day that my business was growing because people were inside and they wanted to heal, and they were buying products to try and heal themselves because they had nowhere to go. And I was getting more like, I wasn't getting super excited. I'm like, this isn't fair. It's not right. So as many of you know, for the past few years, I've been giving 100,000 euros away in crystals. Each year I touch 100,000 euros and more. Why? Because I want to give back to people, and that's what I've done. even to this day, and what we're doing now, because it's not right and it doesn't feel right. And I've given in monetary value, probably about 30,000 each year to people who have got no money, who was desperate. I don't share this. I don't tell people this, but it's true, because it's not right. It's not right. It's not fair that somebody should have more money than somebody else. It's not fair. And people get angry with me when I say that. I think we should all have equal. We should all be able to travel. We should all have food on our table, which is natural. We should all be able to do the things that everybody else does. And it's unfair that people have yachts. These corporations who have yachts, huge yachts at millions, if not billions, and live a lifestyle like they do. That's not fair. It's not right. First of all, the Queen doesn't need, well, she's not here anymore, but she doesn't need 4 castles. She doesn't, the royal family doesn't need all that land. And if it was you, I'm sure you'd do the same as what I do. Give all the time. I nearly lost my second wife because I was giving so much. And she was saying, we don't have any, we haven't even got any money at home. I remember walking on here crying. She's found that in my safe, I had 500 euros and it was designated to an animal shelter. And we had no money at home. And she said, that's it. I can't cope with this no more. Your priorities are all wrong. And she was right. She was right. But the dogs needed help. So we just don't have that. I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see it. And I think my feeling is we might not be able to get to equality because some people want to live on the street and take drugs. But if we can raise the standard of people's lives, that we can give them more freedom, more choices, and help them so that they have more money, so that they're not poor anymore. My staff got 30% wage rise this year. 30% wage rise. And my accountants, Aline, who works at the accountant, said, this is how it should be, Mark. What you've done is absolutely right. And I said, yeah, I know. Why can't other people do it? Well, some people can't do it. Some people can't afford to do it. But if you take that example and we can raise people's wages and everybody get helped, and all the money that comes into the pot, then people get helped by, hey, I've raised the wage, you know, in my community. Okay, you've raised the wage. That's great. How can we help you? And we find a way that everybody benefits and nobody loses. It's not about greed. It's not about making more money. That's why we're in the position that we're in. Soon as Amazon takes over, wages go down. They get rid of the staff. They bring in computers. Why? Because they don't have to pay them. So everything that we're doing, where we're going to, is leading us to people are going to be more poorer every day. You can't even get a dentist appointment. You can't even get a doctor's appointment. All of these things should be eyes wide open. And yet nobody sees it. And the individual, like this beautiful soul who's lost his job, not fair, not right. It shouldn't be like that. Nobody's accountable. Nobody's accountable. Nobody is accountable at all for what they've done. And yet look at all of these scheming parasites who have made billions and billions over you suffering. That's not right. That's not right. Not only should that money be taken away from them and put back in circulation to the people who lost everything, but they should be thrown into prison for a long time. But they won't, because it's a club and you're not in it. And they use the same club to beat you over the head to take more money off you and tax you more. If you even understand tax, it's an absolute scam. It's a scam and it's illegal, but they get away with it because they're the law. You're taxed upon taxed upon taxed upon tax. Everybody's taxed by the same amount or the same product all the time. It's a scam. It's a scam. And this is how it works. Actually, it's a good thing not to see the doctor, and it's probably better that you watch Dr. Morse and Don Tolman's and the people who talk about health and well-being, because they can change your whole body in a matter of a couple of years, 3 years maximum, and your whole body is like you'll never need to go to a doctor again. I think Don Tolman's never been to I think he had an accident once and he had to patch something up because somebody tried to kill him. And he was patched up, but no medication, none of that stuff for all his life. He's been healthy all his life. And the guy eats fruit and vegetables. You know, how many people can say that? And a lot of people are in denial about food as well. We all are. We all say that, oh yeah, I eat healthy, but we don't. Most of us don't. We just see it as a hassle to eat fruit and veg. I can't just eat fruit and vegetables. I need my fish. I need my meat. I need my chocolate. I need my fix. And so I need my sprays. I need my suntan lotions. I need my household cleaners. You know, I got vinegar in there. I use vinegar to clean my whole house. Vinegar. I use natural aloe vera as a cleanser and a deodorant. So all of these things matter. You're putting poisons in your body from Johnson & Johnson, which is proven to be one of the most corrupt companies, as is nearly all corporations. Think profit, not health. They don't care about your health. And yet they're never prosecuted in the sense that they get a slap wrist. If I sold my oils and I put poison in there, they'd not only put me in prison, but they'd take my business away straight away. And rightly so. Shouldn't that be? Well, why is it they would do it to me and not to Johnson & Johnson? Because they're above the law. And this is why we live in a corrupt, and it's a pandemic of corruption. It's a pandemic of lies and cesspit of the most horrible human beings on this planet that are controlling it. That's why I say nobody really wants love. Nobody really wants honesty, because everybody's been programmed to want more than somebody else. Got to have the better car than next door neighbor. Why? I need to be better than my next door neighbor. I need to be better than you. I need to be more famous than you. Why can't we just all be happy being who we are? Why do we need the fame or the bigger car? Why can't, but you're saying that, but you've got a car. Yeah, I have got a car, but I don't look upon my car as if it's better than somebody else. I don't work for that reason. I don't fear losing my car. I had a crappy car for years and I was happier more with a crappier car than the Jeep that I bought. I couldn't wait to get rid of it, to be honest, because I don't like that. It's not important. So our programming needs to change. How do you do that? You can only do it from children. And the school's been hijacked. It's been corrupted. It's filled with cesspits of lies and woke and gender and all the wrong things. Why don't we focus on children and find their ability and their gift and share what is truth and what is reality? And the reality is it's not about wealth or being first or being the best. It's about contributing towards humanity, making a difference, health and well-being. Where is health? There is no health. You look, where is the health? There's only sickness. Where's health? Show me. No. They're just trying to fix and band-aid sickness. There's no talk about health. And if there is, they're shut down. And like me and Don Tolman and Dr. Morse and many others who talk about health and well-being, shut down completely. Gurkwacks, nutters, conspiracy theorists, dangerous people. And yet the ones who say that are the ones that are killing people, making them sick every day. And yet people just get on with it. They don't think about anything else. They just get on with it. Who am I? So I spent all these years trying to say, I'll tell you who you are. You're powerful. You're amazing. You can make a change in the world. How do you do that? By changing your world, by changing you, by being your own teacher, by being your guru, by being strong and listening deep inside to where the truth lies. And that is your consciousness, not your brain, because your brain's been hijacked. It's been programmed. Your brain is not there for your well-being. Your brain is there as a computer, and all it can do is run the simulation of what you've been told as a kid, which were lies. Most of it is trauma. You're stupid. You're not good enough. You have to do better. You talk too much in class. You're uncontrollable. All of these things were a program to make you believe and to pull you down and to make you not be the shining light that you are. And the only people who thrived are the ones who had a memory and those who obeyed. But then you look at them and you see a lot of them people are also now messed up in the head, because when they come to a reality check, when their awakening starts, they realize that all they did was regurgitate, follow orders, and then they never really knew who they were because they just were told what to do. Whereas the ones who fought back and say, no, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be behind these walls of the prison. I don't want to learn this, which has got no relevance in my life. I didn't come here to learn that. Why are you forcing this upon me? You know that in certain countries that children don't go to school till they're 6 or 7 or 8. It seems to be that their progression in life and happiness is far more greater. So they realize that they need to get them in school quicker, earlier, program them faster, so we don't get that next generation who think for themselves, who are stronger. It's all an evil plot against this beautiful consciousness that's within this spacesuit to stop you from being who you truly are. And the government and the education and the lies and the manipulations and the school bullies that our governments and global leaders are doing this exactly how they believe. They are doing to the book. They are creating a new breed of non-existent human beings because the injection separated the consciousness from the physical. That's why so many people are angry now. Angry. Every day, every moment, there's anger. Just a little thing you might ask somebody and they'll get angry and they'll realize that they've made a mistake and they wish they hadn't done it because they've been injected. I asked for, I'll just give you an example. I've got thousands of them, but I'll give you an example. This morning, I simply asked a company to send me an invoice, just an invoice for what I hired a car, and my accountant says, could you get the invoice? And I've asked them 3 times. I kid you not, this happens every day. And I'm just used to it now. I'm just absolutely used to it. So I'll play it you, just so you know that I don't make these things up. I'm telling you, the world is going insane.
Hi, Mark. Look at, you asked me about one invoice, okay? You can see here from 17 November till 19 December, okay? 2 days ago, not almost 2 days ago, 1 day and a half ago, somebody asked me for other invoice from last quarter that we already declared. So it's a big fucking job that I need a few days because all the documents...
It's a big fucking joke. It's like, calm down. What's wrong? But we know what's wrong. They've been injected. People are injected and they're losing. They're losing the connection to their love, and their anger is becoming more. Their brain is becoming more. It's like that everywhere. It's like that on the black screen. It's a cesspit of anger and rage and disconnect. Disconnect, because once you're disconnected, and that's what I believed, and I still do till this day, the disconnect was on purpose. The plan has worked. How do we disconnect the soul from the human body? How do we disconnect them so that they're not listening to their consciousness that says, don't go down that alley. Be careful, because I think that guy's going to, and he did, thank God. Where did that come from? The brain doesn't understand that. Consciousness understands it. Oh, I don't feel like this person's right who's talking to me. Yeah, you're right. He's probably a murderer. He's probably a nasty person. Your gut has told you, stay away from that person. Listen to your gut. If the evilness can cut that out, then you're going to make all the mistakes. And you making those mistakes are absolutely what they want, because mistakes for them means that they're going to make more money. The world of finance, only the rich makes the money, and the rich waits for you to believe that when you put your money into a scheme, Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, all of the famous people telling you to buy into this Bitcoin on, or whatever it may be, you wait for all that to put in without a thought, because they believe this famous person. And when there's enough money in that pot, miraculously, it's all gone. Well, I wonder why that is. Because the poor feed the rich. And that is exactly how it works with government. It's just that it's legalized robbery. It's a legalized Ponzi scheme. And they do it so that you end up poor all the time. You think that a camera that stops you from going past 30 miles an hour, you think that saves lives? You think that saves lives in general? Or do you think that every few minutes they're making €100 every time you get caught on that camera? How easy it is to say, well, somebody could die on this road. And what you're saying is, by saying that, is that you want somebody to die on this road. That's why you want us to take this camera down. Okay. All right, then. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. Let's say that if somebody's caught doing over 30, okay, I agree. But let's not penalize them like you're doing to make more money. Let's say that it's €10. Oh, well, that means that they'll do it anyway because they've got €10 and they don't care. No, what you're saying is €10 isn't enough for you, and there's no point doing it because you do it for the money. So when you see through everything that's been done, it's all a manipulation. These are the idea of cities, smart cities, that you can only go in to this lane and that lane, and we're going to fine you for this, and we're going to put this there, and if you're not, we're going to fine you. All of these fines is a Ponzi scheme. It's to take money from you to feed the wealthy, and that's how it works. And there's always somebody there to police it. There's always somebody there to push it and say what they say. There's always somebody there to be a traffic warden to ticket you. There's always somebody there to push an agenda, whether it's good or bad, under the disguise of my government, my local government. I'm only following orders. And this is how they've got to us. This is how they've messed this world up. When darkness becomes light and light becomes darkness, we are at the point of enlightenment, because you can only see. But that's not for everybody. It's for people who have chosen to awaken. And this is the frustrating thing for many of us. Many of us are frustrated because we can see through all of this, and yet everybody else either chooses to ignore it willingly because it's too much. Don't tell me. I don't want to hear it. I've got enough problems of my own. Unless it happens to you, and then you want everybody to hear you. Why is that? Why is it that we have to wait for you, for something bad to happen to you and your children, for you now to ask everybody to listen to you? Why aren't we listening to everybody? Why aren't we listening to what's going on? Why aren't we speaking out? Why isn't everybody speaking out? Because everybody has their own agenda. Everybody has their own conversation, whether it's money conversation, whether they're frightened. There's always going to be this diverse energy. This is the problem. And then we come back full circle, 360 degrees, not 180. The full circle is this: only you can change your world. Through what you do has a ripple effect to change the rest of the world. The problem is most people change the world because of how they want it to be, not how it should be. And most people don't even know how the world should be. And that's why we got the government we've got, because nobody really knows what they want. They're just looking to vote for somebody. So you get the government you deserve, because left and right are attached to the same body. They say the same thing. They're not telling you anything different. They're not offering everything different. And if you've noticed, nobody with an offer of something different is allowed in that cesspit, and it never will. And that's ultimately why we need to change, and we need to dismantle this system. And the only way you can do that is stop buying from corporations, stop buying from Amazon. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I love buying from Amazon. It comes in one day. Oh, okay. Well, there you go then. There's your integrity. There's what you really think. Then now you wonder why the world's the way it is. I know people who won't buy off Amazon. Do you know why? Because they got fired. They got fired from Amazon because a robot took their place. Ask them if they buy from Amazon. No, they don't. Why? Because it personally affected them, but it hasn't affected you, because you get your goods in a day. So that's okay. So I'm happy with Amazon. See how it works. And we'll be talking like this for the rest of our life till we drop down dead. And so will everybody else. And it continues. So you have to find the balance in life. You have to find what works for you. What feels right? What is your integrity? I won't buy from Amazon. I don't want Amazon. My family buy from Amazon. I don't like, it's not my issue. I say we shouldn't be buying from Amazon, but they do what they want. I can't tell people to do anything. They do what they want. But I won't buy from Amazon. I won't buy from a supermarket. I won't buy off the shelves of cans and all of that. I won't touch it. I'll do my best to buy health and well-being. I'll do my best to buy the most healing medicine in my life. So I go to organic, local farmers markets. I won't buy from this store here. I might buy some toilet paper. I might buy certain things, but I would rather buy it from people that I know in my local community, not from companies. So I will search for local shops where I know that I'm feeding the mum and dad and their children. That's the best I can do, because there's no alternative. You know, it would be lovely to find somebody who opens a store which is almost like we used to have in the UK, which was a co-op, which was about all profits went to the people who work there. But the foods really should be the foods that heal you and not make you sick. So to find a company like, say, Whole Foods, that used to sell genuine, healthy, healing, organic food, then gets taken over by, of course, Amazon. And now it's hijacked and it's no longer what it is anymore. So I think that's me done for the day. I'm wishing you all a lovely day. Be amazing. Just a mid-afternoon truth bomb chat. I'm wishing you all a lovely day. I think the next one I'm going to do will be more about spirituality. I like to have the balance. I like to talk about spirituality. I also like to talk about truth. I hope you enjoyed this chat. If it ruffled your feathers a little bit and it's got you a bit angry, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to have that. You know, I want you to have that. I want you to feel sometimes negative and not feel good. Yeah, but it's your choice. You can walk away anytime you want. You don't need to listen to this. There's so many things you can listen to that make you happy, and that's a good thing. But like I said, my morals tell me that when people say to me, "Oh, this person's always talking about good things. Why aren't you like that?" And I say, because that's not truth. That's not all. Truth is about talking about things that hurt. And I use the analogy of the hole in the road. Just be careful, because you might fall down that hole. So here's the information that I believe that can help you from falling down in that hole in the road. Okay? I'm just sharing the information. Whether you believe it or not, whether you take that information or use it or don't use it, is up to you. I'm not forcing you to do it. I've never forced you. If you want to, I've always said, if you want to take the injection, you do it. If you feel that's the right thing to do. But here's some information. Here's some holes that are there that maybe you can have a look at. And now it's up to you to make the decision. Informed consent, which was never informed. It was a lie. It was manipulation. And it was all about greed and all about fear, because they feared everything, whether it was a lie where the virus was, they were trying to manipulate it, whether it was about the profits they were going to make. All of these things were denied, all lied. And now that they're now coming to light, that we was sharing with people, this is all a lie. Everything that they're doing, we can smell it a mile away. It's a lie. These people are lying. And now it's evident, because it's all coming out, but nothing will happen. Life goes on. Oh dear. Oh, do you remember that? That was terrible, wasn't it? What's for tea tonight again? Sorry, what's for tea? Yeah, that's right. And that's how it will continue, because nobody is held accountable ever, because that's how it works. Just like when you talk about the the trials of World War II, the people they put on trials were guinea pigs compared to the ones that got away and left and went to other countries, that were taken to other countries and looked after. Vernon von Braun is one of them. Oh, yeah, we can't kill him because he's got the genius, so we need him for ourselves. Yeah, that just shows you what our governments are. They're disgusting human beings. All right, guys, love you all. End broadcast. Have a great day. Take care. Thanks for joining me today for a Truth Bomb special. Bye for now.